Hello everyone, welcome to Officers on Duty. I am Shubham Gupta. I scored All India Rank 6 in UPSC Civil Service Exam 2018. Currently, I am undergoing my first posting as Sub-Divisional Officer Etapalli and Project Officer for Integrated Tribal Development Plan, Bhamragarh in Gadchiroli. The place that I am posted, the district I am posted is in Gadchiroli. It's located in Maharashtra. Alright, so this is how my usual day looks like. Generally, as a matter of practice, I wake up around 6:15 in the morning. Then I get freshened up, and of course, I like to go for some kind of morning activity. So about 3 to 4 days in a week, I go for a morning run, which can be 3 kilometers to 15 kilometers, anything. Post that, I come back home and I do some kind of exercise, push-ups, pull-ups and all that. After that, for exercising for about 1 hour, I finish it off. After coming back from the morning activity, I generally respond to my WhatsApp messages and other messages which needs immediate attention. Post that, I start getting ready for office. Once I have taken a bath, I like to do meditation for about 15-20 minutes. It generally helps me stay calm because at least for those 15-20 minutes, I find myself very peaceful and I'm able to concentrate much better. So I have, in the last couple of months, I have actually tried to make it a practice of doing that meditation, and it's actually a guided meditation which I'm using through YouTube. Post that, I have my breakfast around 9:15 in the morning, and I leave for office at 9:30 a.m. every single day. I try to make it a point that I leave for office on time, so it is generally not the case that I leave late. I generally leave around 9:30 a.m. for office. So now, once I start for the office, it is important, like I told you in the beginning of the video in my introduction, I have two offices primarily. One is the Sub-Divisional Officer Etapalli and the other is a Project Officer for ITDP in Bhamragarh. Both the offices are located almost about 2 hours away from each other. So it is practically impossible for me to be at both places on a single day. And that is precisely why I generally choose which office I have to go to. Generally I try to, on alternate days I go to one office and on the other day I will go to another office. But it is nothing is fixed as such. Depends on the work and depends on something. If I want to really surprise somebody with a field inspection or something, it depends on that. So that is how I do it. So one day I am in Etapalli, probably the next day I will be in Bhamragarh, and that is how I plan to visit. On top of that, I also have a third office, which is basically an additional responsibility which is given by the district magistrate to me, which is Chief Officer of the Nagar Panchayat of Etapalli. So I am having two offices in Etapalli practically and one office in Bhamragarh. So whenever I go to Etapalli, I take care of generally both the offices, and when I'm in Bhamragarh, I take care of the project office, which is located here. So each place is, right now the place that I'm staying in, it's centrally located. It's kind of the midpoint of Bhamragarh and Etapalli. So it takes me about 1 hour to travel to Etapalli and almost equal about 1 hour to travel to Bhamragarh also. So I generally reach office around 10:30 in the morning, and then my usual office work day starts. So since I told you that it takes me generally an hour to travel, and the office day is generally pretty busy, I try to use my time during the travel, which is, to some advantage for some personal development and all that. So initially when I joined this place, I thought, okay, let me try to finish my phone calls and all that, but there is no network in between. So I cannot really finish my phone calls during the travel. So next alternative I found is, let me try to read something. But the roads again are zigzag and the roads are not really great here. So again, I could not do that. So the best alternative I could find here was to kind of use audiobooks. So I generally plug in an audiobook and I generally read at least about a chapter of that book while on my travel from one place to the office. And I think I find it really constructive because I'm able to kind of refresh my memory, kind of learn a new thing on every travel, every single day. and that really helps me in keeping my motivation and energy going in the morning. And I do the same thing while coming back from office also, which also again takes me 1 hour, right? So that those 2 hours I generally read about 2 chapters of any book which I can find online on an audiobook, right? So now coming back to morning time, once I reach office at about 10:30 in the morning, the general day will vary upon the office in which to which I'm going. If I'm going to Etapalli, the kind of work that I'm doing is very different as compared to when I'm coming to Bhamragarh, which is a project office, right? So, but the idea is that there is no strict timeline as such as to what I'm going to be doing in a particular day. It may be that some visitors may be waiting to meet me, so I will probably meet them first. There is some official work which is pending, so I will end up doing that work. I may have planned some field visit also, so I will go to that field visit. Most of the times I do not plan my field visits, I go spontaneously there. So it depends on how occupied I am during the day. But I generally try to make it a point that at least 3 days a week I go to the field and just try to see something, what work is happening, or probably what can be done more about a particular area, what the people want. Field visit. So I think field visits are one of the most important part of the job and most enjoyable also at the same time. We get to see so many different people, their culture, their lifestyle, their occupation, everybody, even in the kind of place that I am posted in, every single place, even a couple of villages, if you go to the third village, you will find a completely different culture and a kind of new occupation also. So it's important. Why? Because in places like this, it's very important for you to connect to the people, and for connection, it becomes very important that you go to their place of work, their place of stay, their place of residence, and try to understand what exactly they are going through and how they are trying to kind of channelize their livelihood according to the conditions they have been put in. It also gives you a glimpse of कि यहाँ पे आप अगर गए हो तो फिर what are the challenges that you yourself are facing. If, for example, reach is a problem, then you yourself immediately it strikes you that people are facing problem in connectivity. If you don't get mobile network, you will eventually realize अच्छा mobile network का problem है. Electricity नहीं आएगा तो you will realize कि electricity का problem है. Road नहीं है तो रास्ता नहीं है. So there are multiple issues which automatically come to your attention also once you do go through that journey yourself. But at the same time, interacting with people, kind of just putting them at comfort as to why they should be talking to you and all that. Everything becomes very, very easy when you go to the field. And of course, the journey is, especially in places like this, it is absolutely beautiful. So you get to see some really great landscapes also. So now, like I told you, when we interact with the people, it also becomes important for the viewers to understand that the kind of place that I'm working in. So Gadchiroli, being an aspirational district, it is also a place, and especially the 2 blocks that I'm looking after, Etapalli and Bhamragarh, they are the blocks which are affected by left-wing extremism. So the problem with these places is that, of course, you go to the field, you try to interact with people, but there is a lot of inertia in the mindset of the people, right? They are not very forthcoming. They do not like you going there to their place. It's kind of an interference which you have created in their general culture and livelihood, right? So it becomes, in fact, a little bit more challenging. That way, you have to be more conscious of the fact that what exactly you are going to talk about and where exactly you are going, right? A little bit safety concerns are also there that also need to be taken care of. But of course, the primary purpose of development, of course, people are very forthcoming in terms of if you take some developmental activity into their place, they will be more than happy to welcome you to that place and kind of tell you and allow you that opportunity. But it takes a lot of ice breaking in the beginning with the people of the village where you are trying to work. And that is precisely where we come in as officers, because somehow we have to set up or establish that credibility that what we are going to do is for the benefit of the people, right? And it becomes even more complex when we are working in areas which are affected by left-wing extremism. So like I told you, after 10:30 in the morning till about 1:30 in the afternoon, it's about 3 hours of work which we do. Like I said, there is nothing defined as such, but it can involve office work, it can involve dealing with the visitors, it can also involve field visit. It varies from day to day. There is nothing specified as such. It also involves court work. There is some magisterial work which I do when I go to Etapalli. There is some office, data collection, data input which we have to do when I come to Bhamragarh. So it involves all kinds of work actually, and whatever work needs to be done in terms of handling or managing this office, we try to do that. So that is one thing. I generally go for lunch around 1:30 in the afternoon to 2:30 in the afternoon. Now this particular 1 hour is very important for me, because I feel that this is a time which is reserved for myself, when I can actually think about the things that I wanted to, how my day has gone till now, how I want to utilize the coming 3 to 4 hours. So all these things become very, very important in that sense, and I generally go to either I eat in my office in the antechamber, or I go to some guest house or some place, transit house, where I generally have my lunch. So I generally carry my own lunch from home. I have that lunch in the first half an hour or so, and in the next half an hour I try to read a book. Now this is very important for me, right? And I think it needs to be highlighted as much as possible, because reading is my hobby, and I do not get enough time during the day to kind of pursue this hobby, because of having offices which are geographically very distantly located, and also because it is relatively hectic right now, at least the work that I'm doing, right? So I generally try to use that half an hour for reading, and when I'm reading, I generally find that I have again read about something which is hopefully a little bit different, or probably it is an added advantage, value added to what work I am doing, right? So for example, right now I am reading The Great Arc by John Key. The book is basically about how the initial measurements and surveys and topographical measurements were done during the Britishers' time period. And it was a work which was done over a period of a couple of decades, So it becomes very important. It gives me really great insights as to now also we do the same work of measurement, land measurement. Of course, the technology has advanced, tremendously. The instruments have become much smaller. But it is also very important to kind of understand where the measurements are coming from. And whenever I am being put into the position of an SDM and I am trying to deal with the land measurement department, what I should understand about them in terms of the work that they are doing, where are they restricted in terms of the flexibility that I am demanding from them, right? So probably reading these books also helps in that perspective. But I generally suggest that, and I don't, I restrict myself to reading books which are generally only related to my field of work. I can read anything and everything which I get my hands on. For example, right now the audiobook that I am reading is Lift Off. It is about the journey of SpaceX, the travel company, the space company which is located in the US. Elon Musk owns it, right? So this is just for my intellectual, satisfaction that I like to read that book. I try to, kind of expand my horizons beyond the scope of work also, right? So this is, this is what I wanted to talk to you about reading, and why it is important, and why you should also try to kind of pursue your hobby. It may not be reading, it can be anything else. It can be singing, it can be dancing, it can be, playing a sport. And so you need to kind of set up that balance and pursue your hobby with whichever time you get during the office also. So once I'm done with the lunch around 2:30 in the afternoon, I again go back to the office, and again the same routine, which is for the first half. It can be anything again which I told you about, like it can be field visitors, office work and all that. There is an additional element which I generally try to bring in my daily routine, and that is to try to know my employees. And now because we have a decently sized administration, it is very difficult for me to kind of interact with every employee at a personal level every day. What I generally do is I generally identify one person I want to interact with every single day, and when I'm just about to leave office and they're also about to leave office, I generally interact with them and I just try to know them personally, like what is their educational background, what is their personal background, how many brothers or sisters, how many siblings do they have, are they married, do they have kids, what do the kids do, are there any particular personal problems which is troubling them, or are there any areas of concern which they want to bring to my notice. It's a very, very informal discussion. They don't even realize most of the times that I'm actually trying to interact with them and trying to understand them. It is a very free-flowing conversation. It is generally which is done by me, and I like to know my people, right? Because I think it is very important to take care of my people, and also because they feel much more connected to me. If I'm pressing them too much for the work, they also deserve to be treated well. And knowing them personally really helps me out in trying to provide them with whatever is something which is urgently needed by them. So after that, around generally around 7:30, 7:15, I leave office, and again it takes me an hour to reach back home. And again I do the same thing like I already told you. I read another chapter of the audiobook, and again try to spend that time in reading, and also just trying to looking at the area that I'm posted in. It's absolutely beautiful. It's all green around you. There is not much happening, much establishment, not many shops also. You may feel, if you come here for the first time, you may feel, Asha, where exactly have I come? Does this kind of a place really exist in Maharashtra, which is really the most urbanized state in the country, right? But the beauty of this place is you really get to be with yourself. There is no network that, like I told you, during the journey most of the way. So you really have no option. Otherwise, you would end up doing WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter. But this gives me really time to kind of just observe the people, observe the civilization around me, and also kind of acquaint myself by reading. Right. So this is how I use my time after coming home. I reach home around 8:30, 8:15ish. Generally, when I'm about to reach, I call my parents at least once a day, and I just tell them that I have reached safely and this is what I did, and just to give them a brief idea about how my day has been for the day. So once I've reached home around 8:30, I generally get freshen up, and around 9 o'clock I have my dinner, and post that sometimes it can be that I have brought some files from home, from office, because it really needs immediate attention, or something which I want to read when there are not many people around me. I need time to read and probably understand. It's a bit complex. The issue is a bit complex, right? So at times I handle that, but that is very rare. I generally try not to bring office to home. I generally try to keep that free. So either I watch some television, some movie or something, some TV series and all that, or at times I generally log on to Netflix and just try to watch a movie or a series. Again, that's also because there is nothing much available outside. Even when you step out of the house, there is not even a single shop outside, right? So this is a place which is peculiar in its own terms. You have to kind of adjust your lifestyle according to the place, and the place doesn't adjust according to you. So you have to be very, very kind of adaptive, and I think that goes for the entire job of IAS, even when you're talking about professional as well as personal life, right? So that is what I generally end up doing. I tried to kind of inculcate a habit of reading the book in the evening also, but I think I'm too tired to kind of again pick up a book and read, and that's why I probably try to read in the afternoon and morning and evenings, right? So this is how my weekday generally goes, and then I sleep off, and then again the same routine starts. I wake up at 6:15, 6:30, and then the same routine generally happens. On Saturdays, although there is a government holiday, but again, peculiar to this place, I have developed this habit of kind of working on Saturdays also, because staying at home doesn't serve any purpose. There is not much which I can do. There are not many places where I can go to. So I generally either go for a field visit, which is the primary motive of Saturday, which I generally use for just going around and trying to understand, interacting with people and all that. At times I also look at some files at home, but mostly I travel, and at least I try to travel during the Saturday. On Sundays, in the initial days, I looked at some files and I tried to do some office work. But now in the last 1 week or so, I have developed this habit of not doing office work. I generally try to keep the weekend for me and for things which I like to do. Even if I want to talk to somebody, if I want to talk to a friend, I will do that. If I want to read up on something, I will do that. If I want to write something, I will do that. If I want to really plan something innovative, I will do that also on a Saturday generally, right? So everything which is non-official, non-routine administration, I try to do that on Sundays, and try to use my time for more innovative, more personal development oriented things rather than doing the office work. Like I already told you कि professional और personal का balance कैसे बनाना है. Again, it is a very, very tricky aspect in IAS, because यहाँ पे job बहुत demanding है. Not because मुझे लगता है कि because we are doing something which naturally takes up time, but because of the kind of systems that we have around you, somebody or some other file or some other person will keep on coming to meet you, visit you, bringing up some matter in front of you. So you will start to feel कि यार समय ही नहीं है, there is no time. So that is when you have to start being innovative in your personal development also, that you read a book during travel, you read a book during lunch. I generally suggest that travel सबका similar नहीं होता है, but lunch everybody should take at least 1 hour lunch break and give half an hour for your reading the book time. I think that really helps. It really freshens up your memory and you are able to actually work more efficiently. Otherwise, you get very frustrated and worked up during the day, in the first half of the day, because you are doing so much at the same time, right? So I think वो एक बहुत important aspect है, how you can manage your personal and professional life. And apart from that, like I said, it's a very, very personal thing. There is no gold standard answer which I can give you, this is the way you will be able to manage your personal and professional life. I really try to do that. Keep at least a single day or at least one day of your weekend free. That will really help you, क्योंकि weekend तो सभी छुट्टी लेते हैं, and I think it is even better for your staff, because otherwise if you work, your staff also has to work. So if you are at least taking a day off, do not call them, do not ask them not to call you unless there is something very, very urgent which needs your attention. So अगर आपको कोई ये ऑफिसर या कोई आपको ये कोई बोल रहा है कि IAS ऑफिसर में 24/7 का जॉब है, but then you can also manage the time and get a day out of your schedule where you do not do office work. So it is also manageable. I have been trying to do that at least for the last one and a half years. And मुझे लगता है अगर मैं कर सकता हूँ तो शायद काफ़ी हद तक सभी लोग कर सकते हैं, right? And I know people who are able to do it very, very well, right? So I think this is something which needs to be understood really well by all of us here. Because anyway, दिन में जो आप weekdays में काम करते हो, that is not a 9 to 5 job ना. If you are doing a 9 to 5 job, then probably you need to devote some of your Sunday to your office work. Generally आप 9:30 बजे, like I come at 10:30, I only go back around, I reach at 8:30, right? So you're already working for almost 11 hours a day. So there is a lot of work which can be done during the weekdays also, and by that you're able to manage your time. And Sundays आप अपने family को दो, आप अपने दोस्तों को दो, आप अपने खुद को दो, spend some time with your own self also. So that way you will be able to strike a balance in personal and professional life. एक ऑफिसर का दिन कैसा होता है ये मैंने आपको आज बताने की कोशिश की, एंड मेरा दिन कुछ ऐसे ही बीतता है. हाँ, ये ज़रूर है कि द चार्म ऑफ द जॉब इज़ दिस ओनली कि यहाँ पे किस दिन क्या होगा ये आपको खुद को भी नहीं पता. एवरी डे देर इज़ अ न्यू चैलेंज, देर इज़ समथिंग न्यू विच हैज़ हैपेंड जो पहले 30-35 सालों में, 40 साल में कभी नहीं हुआ है. सो यू आर ऑलवेज काइंड ऑफ इन एन एडवेंचरस पोजीशन जहाँ पे आपको नई नई चीज़ें एक्सपीरियंस करने को मिलती है, नई नई फायर फाइटिंग करनी पड़ती है ऑफ सॉर्ट्स. दिस इज़ अ वर्ड वी यूज़ इन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जनरली. तो वो आप डेली डील करते हो उस चीज़ से, बट broadly this is how your day looks like. But this is also a job which really gives you immense exposure in terms of what all things you end up doing. You will not even realize most of the times कि आपने क्या क्या किया. It's when you go back to when you go back home in the evening, you will realize कि अच्छा ये भी मैंने किया था. This is something which I have done probably for the first time, right? This is something which I have read for the first time. This is something which I have seen for the first time, right? So these are the things. This is the charm of the job. Field visits are the highlight of the job, of course. You get to interact with so many people. You get to create such a large impact in the lives of the people also, for that matter, right? So this is how a day in the life of an officer looks like. Although यहाँ पे और भी बहुत सारे एडवेंचर्स होते हैं, बहुत सारे ऑन द स्पॉट चीज़ें आपके सामने आती हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं जो आपको पता भी नहीं होता कि शायद यू मे हैव टू डील विद इट द नेक्स्ट डे, right? But this is again the charm of the job कि आपको this exposes you, this provides you an access to so many adventurous things, so many new things in life, which when you think about it in terms of a 30-year perspective, it becomes so huge, the experience becomes so immense that आपको लगेगा कि this is a life well lived, So this is the beauty of the job, and I generally say that IAS is genuinely one of the best jobs in the world, not just India but the world. And I genuinely mean it, and I have experienced this in the last one and a half years of my being on the field. But एक important बात है जो आप लोगों को समझने की ज़रूरत है कि definitely I always say that you should plan your life ahead, little bit ahead about beyond clearing the exam, and I genuinely mean it. But it is also to understand that don't have any misconceptions about what this job will be. आप जब फील्ड पे जाओगे तो ऐसा ऐसा होना चाहिए, आप जब फील्ड पे जाओगे तो आपका घर ऐसा होना चाहिए, गाड़ी ऐसी होनी चाहिए, ऐसा होता है क्या, पॉलिटिशियन हमेशा परेशान ही करता है. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. लाइक देयर इज़ नो स्टैंडर्ड सिस्टम फॉर एनी ऑफ दिस. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू आर, हाउ यू वांट थिंग्स टू वर्क. 99% ऑफ द थिंग्स अराउंड यू आर ड्रिवन बाय यू. आप उस चीज़ को कैसे देखना चाहते हैं और कैसे चलाना चाहते हैं, ये आपके ऊपर निर्भर है. और आप अगर उसको कंस्ट्रक्टिव तरीके से चलाएंगे, एक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान आपका रहेगा सिस्टम में, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली दिस इज़ व्हाट डिफरेंशिएट्स यू फ्रॉम द रेस्ट, राइट? तो ये एक चीज़ बहुत समझने की है. और मैं हमेशा एक चीज़ कहता हूँ कि don't expect too much from yourself, right? And also at the same time don't be untrue to yourself in any sense of the term, right? जैसे मैं एक लाइन है जो मैं हमेशा अपने आप को भी कहता हूँ और मेरे आसपास वाले लोगों को भी कहता हूँ कि इंसान सभी लोगों से झूठ बोल सकता है लेकिन अपने आप से झूठ नहीं बोल सकता और ना ही बोलना चाहिए. So this is something which we really need to understand and try to imbibe within ourselves. So all the very best to you guys from my side and hope to see some of you on Officers on Duty someday. Thank you so much.